Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. My old buddy Atlas is in here helping me out today. As you can see behind me, there's a little wooden shelf. Am I boring you? There's a little wooden shelf on the screen back there. I had a nice young lady ask me to make her that. So in an effort to overcomplicate things and make things that should be simple complicated, I'm going to do that with the CNC machine. You could make a paper template and cut that thing out. Bing, bang, boom, no problem, be done in a hurry. But with the CNC, after I'm done with the programming, I can punch those shelves out 1, 2, 3, one right after the other, and they'll be identical and they'll be perfect. So without further ado, let's get on the machine and let's get started. All right, let's open up old Carveco here. And as I like to say in the beginning of my videos, this is the way that I do this. There may be other ways. There may be ways that people find to be simpler than this. But this is how I do it, so let's rock and roll. All right, now the overall dimension of this shelf is going to be 18 inches wide. So let's start with the back plate. And the back plate will make 14 by 3.5. And the object here is to be able to go to your local big box store and buy a 1x4, 1x4x8, and make these shelves. So let's open this up. Let's switch to the 2D view. And here we have it. Now what we need to do first is put the heart in the center here, obviously. And the easiest way to do that is to go to the vector library that Carveco already supplies. And it does have a heart in there. So on the top here, if you start punching in the letters for heart, you'll get this one right here. Drag and drop him into the model. You can actually click on it if you like. For simplicity's sake, I know we were going to make this complicated, but let's go simple. Click on the inside vector and delete it. We don't need that vector. Let's click on those vectors once more and go over here to the transform tool. Go back over here to the size, and let's make the heart 2.875, 2 3/4 inches. Make sure your locks are on and click apply. Click F9 to make sure it's in the center, and it is. We can go back to the cursor tool now. Click off of the heart. Now we need to put in some grid lines so that we know where to do the next operations. And those next operations are quite simple. The shelf that the girl showed me, this one here, has a flat bottom along this base. And we're going to pretty that up a little bit. We're going to do some swooping lines in here just to get it a little fancier. Let's see what we can do. Slide over on the left on the numbers. Left click, drag over. Right click on the grid, and we're going to edit the grid line. This is the easiest way to put these where you want them. So I want that at -2 in this case. I'm going to click apply. I want another one over here at 2 inches, which will offset them or separate them evenly. So we're going to go down into the position, and we're going to put 4 in here. We're going to move the grid line over 4 inches relative to the first offset. Click that. Click insert, and there you have it. So now we've got this divided out for our first arc here that we're going to put in, but we need to know the height that we're going to use. So we'll grab another grid line from the top and drag it down. I didn't grab it. There it goes. Let's left click on that, right click on that once the double arrow shows. We're going to edit that guideline, and I think we'll put that in at around -1.28. Oops. All my stuff is still typing here. -1.28. Click apply. Close that out. Now we're going to create an arch from this point. Let me get the arch tool over here. We're going to create one from this point to this point, and we're going to stretch it down into the bottom. And you're going to use the indicators of the cursor to tell you when you're on the money. As you can see here, we have just a straight crosshair. When we go to here, it looks like a rifle scope. We know we have it correct. Click there, and we see this gigantic arch up here. That's not what we want. Hover over the center. You don't need to hold down the mouse or anything, and just drag down slowly, and continue to drag down until it hits the bottom line, and you will see again, you get a rifle scope when you're on the bottom where you want it. Then left click, and you're good to go. We need another grid line. So back to the cursor tool, we'll go up here and grab a grid line and pull it down. We need a grid line just above the other one. Let's see where that one is positioned. Let's edit guideline. That one's at 0.1078. That looks pretty good. Let's leave it right there. It's a judgment call, really. And we're only going to use that as a point for the top of the arch that we're going to go, because we're going to go the other way with this one. It's going to go upward instead of down. Back to the arch tool. We're going to start on our last point on each side here, and as you can see, the cursor turns into a window when you're on the point that you need to be on, right there. Click over to the other side straight across. Once you hit the side, click again with the crazy arch that we've got. But we're only going to, this time, we're going to go right to there where it lines up with our grid. Go to the other side. We have the window again. We're going to click there. Click there. Up till the grid line hits, and click there. Now we can go back to the cursor tool. Now we have this swooping line going through here, but this swooping line is not connected. To make this easier to see, we'll go to View, Delete All Guidelines. Now if I click on this guideline, or on this arch, you can see that this one does not light up. It's because they're not connected. I'll show you how you connect them now. Light that one, push Shift, click the next one, and a third. Go to Vector, drop down to Join, slide over to Join with Coincident Nodes, click that, set your tolerance at 0.01, that's what I use typically, and click Join. Now you'll see, when we click off, that they are now joined. That's one complete vector, straight across. Next step we're going to do is, I want to pull these lines down to the corner. So if we click on that, and we go to Node Editor up here on the top, we can then zoom in a little bit and grab that square when the window appears and pull it down into the corner. And when we hit the corner, you can see that the cursor changes to a crosshair. Release, and let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Pulling it down. Doesn't matter that you do this, we're going to land on the corner. Release, and we're good. Go back to the cursor tool. Let's zoom out a little so you can see what we've done here. We now have those lines directly on the bottom of our project. Now I want to close this vector, otherwise you're not going to be able to carve along this. So we'll go to the line tool, upper in the corner when we get the window, click. We hit the corner, we click again. We hit the corner over here, we click again. We go to the bottom once more. Push Escape on the keyboard. We have the same scenario here as we had with the three lines. If we highlight this, the lines are not connected to the square. Highlight them both. Vector, Join, Coincident Nodes, Join, and now we have what we're looking for. To prove it, let's pull this down. Click off of it, and you can see that we have a nice graceful line to create the backer board of this shelf with. Click Undo, and it puts it back. Pardon me. One other little trick that I like to do when I'm putting these arches together is go to the fillet tool. We're going to go Fillet Arc, and let's go with a 0.2. Hover right there where those two meet till the window lights, and click it once. And you can see that it smooths that line. Let's go to the other one. I'll try to zoom in a little closer this time so you can see it better. And as I click, watch the line, 1, 2, 3, and it smooths that corner out. Just another little touch makes it look nicer. All right, so now we're going to put this back in the middle. Click off the fillet tool. Click off of the project. And I know that we're going to put some coat hangers in here, some dowel type coat hangers. So why not put the holes for those in while we're doing this so I don't have to drill them out. We're going to go to the center of the project, which is 0 on the side. Using these grid lines makes everything a whole lot easier. We're already at 0, so we can close that out. Now we're going to go half the distance between here and here. Let's grab a line, we'll pull it in. Let's go to 4, -4, sorry. Right click on the grid, edit the guideline. Oh, I was close. 4.0, apply. Do the same thing down here. We're going to move over 8 in this case, relative to the first offset, and we're going to insert. And we now have the crosshairs where we're going to put those 2 holes. Go to the circle tool. Again, when your crosshair turns into a bullseye, drag out, go over here to this side and select the size that you're looking for. And I know that the dowels we have are 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to drill them out at 9/16, and that way if I have to correct it out in the shop, I can. 0.5625 is 9/16. Click create. Going to go over here and do the same thing. Drag it out. Over here and adjust the size. 0.5625. Click create. Back to the cursor tool. Up to view. Delete all guidelines. Click off of it. Let's highlight the entire thing. Let's pull it down. Oops. Let's highlight the whole thing and pull it down so I can get a better look at it. Click off of it. And there's our shelf. Looks pretty good. Toolpaths. All right, very easy. For these guys here, we're going to do an area clearance. For the heart, we're going to do a profile toolpath, and we're going to go inside the vectors. On the outside perimeter, we're going to do a profile tool and go outside the vectors. So if we go to toolpaths, let's start from the center and work our way out. We're going to use 1 bit to do this the whole time, an 1/8 inch end mill. Let's do the area clearance first. I'm sorry, let's go to the profile tool first. We are going to go start depth of 0, finish depth. This is going to be a 3/4 inch board, so we're going to go 0.75. Click to select the tool, 1/8 inch end mill, select that. All of this is good. I'm going to use the tape CA trick so I don't have to put bridges in. We don't need any of those. Our safe Z looks correct. Let's check it. 0.1, that's correct. Click to define material as 0.75. Click OK. Let's pick this guy up here a little bit and calculate now. You know what? I didn't select any vectors. Let's try that again. Select the heart and calculate now. All right, so the heart vector is finished. Now we'll select this hole, push shift and select this hole. Toolpath one more time. Down here to area clearance. Start depth 0, finish depth 0.75. Add a tool. Again, back to the 1/8 inch end mill. We're going to select that. Let's do an offset procedure. 0.1 is correct. We've already set up the material. Let's calculate that. We're good there. Select the outside box and the swoopy doop here. Profile toolpath. Start depth 0, finish 75. We're going to go back to the end mill again, 1/8 inch. Select. No bridges. Again, we're doing the CA glue trick here. And we are going to calculate now. Right click on toolpaths. Drop them down first. Right click on the toolpaths. Simulate all toolpaths. Click simulate. Click on simulation. Let's change the color to something a little more appropriate. Let's go to medium oak. And click apply. And there is the backer board to your shelf. Now the next thing we have to make are the braces, and we'll open up another project to do that. Let's minimize this. Back to Carveco once more. When it opens, new model. Let's go with a dimension of 8 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Let's not go that high. Let's go 6 by 6. 6 inches. Click OK. Back to the 2D view. All right, so now what we got to make, as I said, is that shelf. And to make matters a little simpler, I know that the origin is in the center on the model as it sits now. We're going to change that. We're going to go to Model, Set Position. We're going to go to the bottom left pixel, which is this corner right here. And what it'll do is it'll take away all these negatives, and it will make it so you can read it easier as you're doing this. Now I'm going to do a square starting in that corner. We're going to go out 3 inches, down 6. Come over here and adjust the size to 3 by 6. Click Create. Let's zoom in and get this thing right on the corner. Alright, we're good. Now I cheated off camera and I put in some grid lines here. Let's bring those back. We'll go to View, Show Grid Lines, or Guidelines, I'm sorry. Now the guidelines I put in, I did that to save some time here, are at 1, 2, 4, and 1. And the reason for those guidelines are to create the swoopy doop on this piece. We do that by going to the Arc tool. We're going to click here and the corner. And we're going to swing this out. And some of this is artistic or judgment, where you'd like the things to be. Click again on this point to this point. We're going to push this guy back a little bit beyond our guideline. Click again. Once more here. Once more into this corner. We're going to bend him down so that he stays within the box here. We don't want it outside the box. We want it to be close. Clicking again. Go to our cursor tool. Click off of that. I think we're in good shape. I think that'll work. Let's highlight all of those guys. Push and shift. Click that once more. Vector. And we need to join them again if you remember. To create one line all the way around. Now, as you see here, when we light this up, it's not grabbing the square. It's because the square on the corners are not connected. Let's go to the snip tool. These little, I say that looks like a guy laying underneath the barbell, but it's actually a pair of scissors. Snip this corner, so that gets rid of all of this in here. And let's go up. As you can see, we have an issue here. We're going to snip this inside line. Then we're going to go to the cursor tool. We're going to highlight both of those. Go to Vector, Join, Coincident Nodes, Join. Let's go to the bottom and see what's going on there. We look pretty good. However, we do have an extra vector in there. Let's go back to the snip tool once more and click in here. Now, anytime you hover over a vector that can be cut, the scissors will open. So if we cut this guy and get rid of him, we go over here, there isn't one on this side. Close out the vectors. Let's go to highlight these, cursor. Highlight both of these. Vector, join. They're already joined. We don't have any issues there. Now, all we need to do is create a profile toolpath and cut this guy out. And we have the braces for the shelf. So let's go out to the shop that is the shop and start applying some of this stuff to some wood. Okay, folks, so while doing the editing on this video, I realized it's starting to creep up there a little bit. It's getting a little long. So we're going to break this into 2 parts. I know I don't typically do that, but I just can't see the video running 35 minutes long to show you this project. So we are very close to finish. This gives you a quick sneak peek there. So we did finish the shelf. We just got to throw some polyurethane on it, maybe a little stain, and we'll be good to go. So please stick with me. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you'll come back next week and see how we put this thing together, because I've shown you some tricks and some tips along the way that you're not going to want to miss. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.